Have you ever seen kanji that's changed its sound every time you say it? Like this one. Sometimes it's yama, sometimes it's sun. It feels like the same kanji is pretending to be two different people. If you have ever felt confused by that, you are not alone. Every Japanese learner struggles with this at some point. But here's the good news. There is actually a simple, logical reason behind it. And once you understand this, kanji will start making sense like never before. Today, I'm going to clear this up completely. You will finally understand why one kanji has two readings, how onyomi and kunyomi are used in real world, and how to guess the right one even if it's your first time seeing that word. I'm Hassan and this is LingoAsia, where Asian languages are simplified with the Venum formula, so you can learn to speak using just verbal and nominal pattern. Alright, let's break it down. Why kanji has two voices? To really understand on and kun, we need a bit of history. Long time ago, Japanese had no writing system. People were already speaking Japanese every day, but there was no way to write it down. No characters, no kanji, nothing at all. Then writing arrived from China, and Japan began using Chinese characters that we now call kanji. When Japan borrowed these characters, they also borrowed the Chinese way of reading them. But Japanese people already had their own word for simple things like mountain, river, person, fire, etc. So in the end, many kanji end up with two readings, the older Japanese word and the newer Chinese style sound. Let's go back to yama. Long before kanji arrived, Japanese people were already saying yama for mountain. The native Japanese reading is what we call the kun reading or kunyomi. Then Japanese imported this character from China where it was read as something like shan. In Japanese, the sound becomes san. And this Chinese style reading is what we call the on reading or onyomi. So you can think of every kanji like an actor with two voices. Kun is the Japanese voice, on is Chinese style voice. Same characters, two voices, and both are correct. Now let's turn this into something practical. Here's the main rule you can use in most cases. If the kanji is alone or it has hiragana attached at the end, it usually uses the kun reading. And if you see two or more kanji together form one word, they usually use their own readings. Let's look at some example together. When you see one kanji by itself, it's usually use kun reading. For example, hana, yama, hito, these are old, natural Japanese words. People were already saying hana, yama, hito long before kanji even existed. Now look at the verb that were written as kanji plus hiragana at the end. For example, kiku, taberu, nomu. In all of this, the kanji comes first and the hiragana comes after. This pattern is almost always a kun reading. But when you see two kanji joined together, that's when on reading usually appear. For example, shimbun, gakusei, tenwa, and kazan. In this word, each kanji is using its own or Chinese style reading. So here the simple pattern. If the kanji is standalone or has hiragana after it, it's usually kun. If it's kanji plus kanji in one word, it's usually on. This rule isn't perfect, but it's worked in most daily situations and really makes kanji feel a lot more predictable. Let's make this easy to feel. You can think of it like this one. If the word is old, natural word like mountain, river, person, and fire usually use the kun reading because people were already saying those words in Japanese long before kanji existed. And when the word is newer, more constructed word like newspaper, telephone, society, or education were created later using kanji that come from China. So those usually use the on reading instead. So here a simple way to remember it. Everyday nature and basic action are often kun, while more abstract ideas and compound noun are often on. It's not a strict rule, but it's a very helpful shortcut to train your brain to feel the difference. Now let's connect this to Venum formula. In Venum, we always come back to two big structures in language, verbal and nominal. Verbal is the world of action and state, and nominal is the world of things and ideas. Japanese kanji follow this pattern too. Most of the time, kun lives on the more verbal and natural side. You will see it in verb and adjectives that use kanji at the front and hiragana at the end. Words like taberu, kiku, and matsu are things you do. They happen in real life and they usually use kun reading. On the other hand, on shows up more on the nominal side. It appears in noun, especially when you have kanji combined together in one word. For example, shokiji, tensha, bunka are not action you do. They are labels for concept and things. So you can use a simple question in your head. Is this word acting more like an action or more like concept? If it feels like an action or a state and it has hiragana after the kanji, it's very likely using the kun reading. If it feels like a things or idea and it's made of kanji plus kanji, it's very likely using the on reading. Now, one important warning. A lot of learners try to memorize every single on and kun reading for every kanji. If you do that, you will burn out very fast. Instead of trying to remember everything, I want you to start noticing pattern. First, look for hiragana after the kanji. If there is hiragana attached, it's usually a verb or an adjective, and it's many cases that mean it's using the kun reading. If you see two kanji joined together and they act as one noun, it's very often an on reading combination. And if you have already seen that same kanji inside another compound before, there is a good chance it's using the same on reading again. Also, don't stress if one kanji has more than one on reading or more than one kun reading. That's completely normal. Japanese borrowed kanji from different regions, so some characters arrive with more than one accent. The important thing is not to panic and not to chase perfection. You don't need to know every reading at once. What you need is clear system in your head, and that's what you are building right now. Let's wrap everything up in a really simple way, like we are just talking. Kanji basically has two main readings. One is the kun reading, which is the native Japanese reading. The other is on reading, which comes from the old Chinese style pronunciation. Kun usually appear in simple, natural word, a single kanji like yama, mountain, hana, hito, or in verb and adjective where the kanji is followed by hiragana, like taberu, kiku, or takai. On the other hand, on reading like to show up in compound noun, where you have kanji joined together to make one word, like shimbun, gakusei, tenwa, and shokuji. So, as quick shortcut, when you see kanji followed by hiragana, it's usually using the kun reading. When you see kanji plus kanji acting as one noun, it's usually used on. In Venom term, you can think of kun as closer to the verbal natural side of the language, thing you do and feel, while on sit closer to the nominal concept side, labels, ideas, and compound word. Once that idea click in your mind, kanji stop feeling like random guessing. It start to feel logical, structured, and honestly a lot more fun. If this helped you finally understand on and kun a bit better, just give this video a like so I know it's useful for you. And if you want more simple explanation like this, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. I'm Hassan and this is LingoAsia, where Asian languages simplified by Venom formula. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye.